Hello everyone and welcome to the new video on the channel. Today we're going to look at the new horror game released this season, and I'm going to tell you that it is really very scary. This game inspired by PT, as you already probably seen on the screen, and I'm talking about the game called MADiSON. A very interesting game, and believe me, it will be really fun and strange and horrorly to watch this video. But before that, I would like to ask you, if you're subscribed to our channel, push the notification bell, because sometimes we miss some of our views from you. Press the like on the video and comment which next game you would like us to review. So let's start. The number of games has been inspired by PT. Effectively means that Hideo Kojima's playable teaser created a new subgenre in the horror realm. And it's actually true. So many games has been released during that time, but we're not gonna mention all of them in this video, except for one, the new one called MADiSON. These games are all first-person nightmares with the small open spaces, and they always require you to solve a best load of head-scratching puzzles, while paranormal activity toys with your sanity. MADiSON doesn't quite reach the unbearable tension and dread that made the Kojima's Deep into Silent Hill so beloved, but it's still a fun haunted house ride, and is perfect for this year's Halloween. MADiSON's narrative isn't particularly new, and it suffers from an annoying protagonist, but it's an interesting discussion concerning the demons and possessions. The family and the MADiSON's history is disturbing, and it's mostly expressed wonderfully through the tape recordings and visuals. While the main story focused on the protagonist Luca as they try to escape the house and work out what happened to them, their family, there is another narrative arc building around below the surface. The secondary narrative focuses on the lore of the MADiSON, is a serial killer and an underworld entity. As the game evolved, you would become to the expect of the better stories the writers of MADiSON have delivered. There is almost a folklore-like respect for the mythology, for the universe of which the events of the game taken place. The mythology of the universe and that kind of, let's say, creepily style that goes around the house. The mausoleums of the entirety and outline his make sense, which adds to the believability and the fear that is desirable for the perfect player's experience that you could get. It is really terrifying sometimes when you're walking through the corridors of the game. The story takes you to the different moments in time, as you explore way more than just a house of explicitly showing guns propel to your horror staples such as graveyard, morgue, and a church. Most of the time spent in the house, but adventures will be really very unsettling locations provided to the much needed changes in the scenery. In addition, provided a fresh code of painting and changes of the location come with their own little sub-story style with the bigger narrative. A child's playroom comes with the mobility drawn playbook showing the origins of the Blue Knees areas, where the morgues tell you the gruesome details of MADiSON murders and the disgusting state of her victims. It conjures how horrendous of the grotesque, imaginary, and the force to the listen. As for the gameplay, it is a PT-inspired horror that comes close to what you would expect. You mostly walk through the linear and open spaces completing puzzles, and then open a mercenary game that is open nothing like to prevent all the horror jump scares. There's also a couple of enemies, one unhit kills, that you can defend yourself with an exceptionally singular instance. The game runs smoothly through its 5-hour duration, and there will never be any noticeable of technical issues. The biggest problem with the gameplay is that there is too many instances where the photo needed to be taken several times for the desired effect to be triggered. As the first-person game immerse was also broken with a few instances where the game purposefully looked down, only to reveal the protagonist is nothing more than a floating head on a bloody hand. You can't even talk about MADiSON without bringing the biggest gameplay mechanic, the Polaroid camera. The device you're playing merely means interacting with the environment. It's not just solving puzzles, as it can be used for illuminating the dark. It's extremely unsettling to use as the means of the lightening through the way. I was constantly in a state of the fear that flesh would reveal was briefly frames I could see. There is dozens of fun puzzles that would never be ridiculously obstacle or illogical. There is also enough instances of the parable dread that also loud jump scares are effectively and forgivingly sporadic. The story is a whole original, but is interesting enough for anyone who has something like, let's say, fondness to tale of the demons and possessions. Its protagonist and unbelievable with the horribly white-kneed voice. They kept an obvious statement, but fortunately this is mouse and zipped. To sum it up, I would say this is a cool and maybe not that close to the PT, but an interesting horror game you actually can play and try to play if you're excited and missed kind of horror games, because we haven't had really a lot of cool and really scary horror games a while, so MADiSON could be a really interesting something you could play now. Since it is on a sale now, I would all suggest you guys to try it and play it more. So, see you in the next video, and tell us if you played MADiSON, did you like it, what do you like about it, and whatever is going on in your head right now about this game or maybe other games you want to review to us. See you in the next video, bye!